Suddenly, my friend announced that he had a girlfriend. The caption read, "I'm at a loss for words, I just want to see you." At that moment my Snapchat exploded. All our mutual friends bombarded me with messages. "Claire, Felix's girlfriend, is that you? Really? Why didn't I become Felix Harper's girlfriend?" Before I could understand what was happening, Felix texted me, "So what do you think? My girlfriend is beautiful, isn't she?" Every word was like a knife piercing my heart, and my hands were shaking so much that I could barely see the screen due to blurred vision. He must have been impatient with the answer, because he sent another message, "My girlfriend knows we're close. I don't want her to get the wrong idea, so maybe she won't come near me for now." I read his messages over and over again, then hung up the phone and burst into tears. All these years everyone knows that I love Felix. Everyone except Felix himself. He always thought of me as just his best friend. His family has no blood relatives. In this world, if we were to talk about who knows Felix Harper the most, I, Claire Bennett, would say that I have no equal. I know he likes egg pancakes without green onions, beef noodles without cilantro, winter sweatshirts without hoods, and sneakers that are half a size bigger than his usual shoes. Since we were kids, I've taken all of his literature notes, and when he went to college, I bought him his first formal suit. I am very proud of the place I occupy in Felix's life. I thought that no other woman could leave as much of a mark on his life as I did. I thought there was only one small step left between us. The time where everything will naturally fall into place, but I didn't have that opportunity. Instead, I found out that Felix had a girlfriend. He kept messaging me on Snapchat, telling me how beautiful his new girlfriend was. How he suddenly liked green onions and cilantro, and now he loved them too, because he loved them too. She shared pictures of the sweatshirt he bought her, saying that she loved it so much that she would wear it every day. She even mentioned how cute it was that he bought her sneakers that were too small. Every word seemed to erase my past. Finally, he sent me one last message. "My boyfriend said if you buy us condoms, he'll think we're just friends. Claire, hurry up and get them." He entered the hotel address. His rudeness to me is my fault. Since childhood, I have always given him everything he wanted. If he asked for the stars, I would build a ladder to bring them back to him. Even his mother said that no one in the world would be as kind to him as me, because I was so kind to him. He had that freedom. He took me for granted. I wiped my tears and left. When I arrived, he was already impatiently waiting for me. As soon as he opened the door, he snatched the condom from my hand and looked at me intently. "Claire, how long have you been here?" My friend almost got suspicious. He didn't even give me a chance to speak before closing the door. Before the door closed, I saw a woman. She was wrapped in a towel, her hair loose, and drops of water still lingering on her skin. I saw Felix impatiently walking towards her, about to kiss her. Tears kept streaming down my face. I didn't want to look pathetic in front of Felix, so I tried to cover my mouth, but I still couldn't stop myself from sobbing. I suddenly felt a sense of humor. I wiped away my tears and tried to convey to him as calm a message as possible. "Felix, I won't bother you anymore." After sending it, I blocked it. Felix and I have known each other since childhood. After more than 20 years, the memories have become so numerous. Just the photos of the two of us take up more than 30 gigabytes of my phone's memory. I deleted them all. And not only that, I even deleted all the childhood photos we took together years ago from my social media accounts. I've made a decision. From now on, I won't like Felix Harper anymore. The next day after school, Felix cornered me. He looked at me irritated, as if I was being unreasonable. "Claire, what's wrong with you? I must admit, it's impossible to forget someone you've loved for so long in one night." My heart ached a little when I saw him again. I pretended everything was fine and pretended I didn't hear him. He was clearly starting to lose patience. "You make Mia feel so uncomfortable." He thought it was because of her that we didn't get along. I looked at him, I felt a bitter taste in my mouth and I couldn't speak. I just quickened my pace to get away. Felix cursed behind me. "Damn, Claire, are you being too pretentious? You're making a big deal out of your sister dating someone. Mia is right, you're being possessive. Don't tell me you really like me." I stopped walking and turned to him. I suddenly wanted to tell him everything. What if I say yes, eh? Felix fumbled with his fingers, seemingly surprised by my answer. I was kidding. I have to go. Let's talk about this later, okay? For the next 2 months, Felix didn't contact me, nor did I. I heard he's gotten serious with his girlfriend. They've even signed up for a travel group, planning to travel during the summer vacation. My friends were angry about this and sent me messages complaining. Does Felix have no heart? How can he say this in public? Isn't he afraid of hurting you? I hesitated for a moment before answering. Leave him alone. Things gradually improved. While Felix boasted about his relationship, I silently cried in pain for several nights. But I forced myself not to think about it, not to ask about it. After a while, I didn't really think about it anymore. I started focusing on my studies and became busy every day. Then one day my roommate informed me that I was on the university admission wall. The confession is simple. Claire Bennett, sophomore economics major. I, Mason Callahan, had decided that you are my one and only good. Honestly, it's a bit disappointing. Who still uses vulgar, provocative catchphrases these days? I didn't take it seriously. I thought it was just someone's joke. But what I didn't expect was that Mason Callahan started aggressively pursuing me. Because of what happened with Felix, I really didn't want to date anyone, so I was very cold towards him, but he wasn't discouraged. In fact, with each rejection, he seemed to become more determined. At first, whenever I left the library, I would see him waiting there, always holding a cup of my favorite grape cheese tea in his hands. He will give it to me as soon as I leave. At first I refused, but he didn't get mad. He just smiled and said, "But man, I already bought it. This would be a waste. If you really don't want it, why don't you just transfer the money to me?" This is how he got my contact on Snapchat. I thought it might be awkward to give him my details, but he was very attentive. He only occasionally liked or commented on my posts, rarely actively interfering in my life. I'm gradually getting used to it. After some time, when I tried to transfer the money for tea with milk to her, she refused, giving me a completely reasonable explanation. "We know each other now. Treating you to a cup of milk tea is exactly what I should do." After reading this message, I found myself lying on my bed and couldn't stop laughing. I never thought this guy would be this good at meeting women. He knows how to perfectly manage the boundaries between men and women. I started to enjoy talking to him. After all, who wouldn't like a handsome man who knows how to treat a woman, right? As I got to know him better, I discovered that Mason's score on the college entrance exam was actually more than 30 points above the minimum threshold for admission to our university. "I don't understand. So why did you come here?" This time, he seemed a little embarrassed and scratched the back of his neck. "The person I love is here." The atmosphere suddenly became awkward. I coughed awkwardly, with 600 points. "You don't seem like the kind of person who would write such a confession." This time he was even more embarrassed, and the blush quickly spread across his face. My friends posted this. They were just having fun. Mason is very handsome, more than just attractive in the usual sense of the word. When I was growing up, the most beautiful person I saw was Felix, but upon closer inspection, Mason seemed less attractive than Felix. After looking at him for a moment, I suddenly realized that I hadn't thought about Felix in a long time. It feels like he's really gone from my life. Mason started taking up my time. Every day he found new ways to satisfy my cravings. I didn't like eating breakfast at the cafeteria, so he woke up 2 hours early to buy me breakfast at my favorite store. It wasn't just me, my friends also benefited from this. Whenever he brought something to my dorm, he would also bring something to my friends, making sure that everyone had their share, and mine was always the best. If I posted on social media in the morning that I wanted to go out, by noon he would be dressed and ready to take me to the suburbs for the evening. When I suddenly mentioned that I wanted to eat strawberry cake, that night I received the strawberry cake he bought. It has the South Family Rice Shop logo. This store is located near my house. I looked at him curiously. "When did you buy this?" Mason was a little embarrassed, still gasping for breath. "I went there when I saw your message. I was playing catch with my roommates this afternoon and saw him a little late. I almost didn't have time. This shop has always been popular. I've been there since I was a kid, but the owner is a man who really knows how to live. Every day, without exception, he closes the shop at 5 p.m., regardless of whether there are still customers or not. The reason I know this so well is because I've been to their store several times, but never bought anything. Their prices are about a third higher than other stores. Even my mom just bought me one for my birthday every year. I couldn't resist buying it, but I still wanted it. Every time Felix sees me looking, he strokes my head and comforts me like a child. "Don't look, baby. Brother Felix will buy you something next time." But I waited for years and it didn't happen. Every time he has an excuse, he spent all his allowance, or he doesn't have time to go shopping, etc. That time I believed him. Now, looking at the 6-inch strawberry cupcake in Mason's hands, I suddenly felt my eyes heat up. So if anyone really wants to buy, it's only 2 hours. This is what it means to appreciate. I couldn't help but cry. Mason immediately panicked.